this motherfucker right here.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
That is Howard Lutnick, our Secretary of Commerce, who is worth about $2 billion. Now, Howard's not an idiot. Obviously, he's a very, very intelligent man. But what Howard doesn't understand is that most people on Social Security don't have a billionaire son-in-law that can float them the money if their Social Security check doesn't hit. No, Howard. The people who would be yelling and screaming the loudest if their Social Security checks didn't hit wouldn't be fraudsters. They would be the people that need that money, the people that rely on that money for their rent, for their mortgage, for their groceries. Not everybody on Social Security lives paycheck to paycheck, but a lot of people do. It is their only source of income. And if they lose it, they could potentially lose everything. Now, look, there's been a lot of Trump appointments that are absolutely disgraceful, people that have no business being in that spot. Howard Lutnick is not one of those people, okay? As the Secretary of Commerce, I think he's a great choice. He's a very intelligent individual. He obviously understands business very well, economics very well. This is a guy that you say, yeah, you know what? Secretary of Commerce, he might be a good fit. But what we're dealing with here is somebody who doesn't understand, okay? Billionaires don't know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. Billionaires don't know how it feels to be standing online wondering if your card is going to be declined for that $5 purchase. Billionaires don't understand having to choose between paying the rent or feeding your children. Billionaires don't understand what it means to sweat over money month after month. So as Secretary of Commerce, this is somebody who could give us something that we desperately need. But somebody who's talking about Social Security and, oh, people wouldn't miss it if they didn't get a check, they would just trust the government. That, my friend, is not how it works. We have all paid into Social Security our entire lives. Every paycheck that we've had, money has gone to Social Security. Some people have worked their ass off their entire lives, and this is all they have. This is the thing that gets them through from month to month, that pays their rent, that pays their mortgage, that pays their bills, that buys them groceries. Social Security is it. So when there's a lot of talk about putting Social Security on the chopping block, and make no mistake, while Howard said this,
we don't have to take one penny from someone who deserves Social Security. Not one penny for someone who deserves Medicaid and Medicare.
Elon Musk said this.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
So yeah, it's absolutely possible that Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid are not on the chopping block. But there's a lot of conflicting information here, and you're leaving a lot of people wondering, is this something that's going to get cut? So when the Secretary of Commerce comes out and says, well, if people didn't receive their Social Security checks, what do you think people are going to assume? What do you think people are going to take from that? Do you think that's a positive message? Do you think people are going to agree with you? Now, while Lutnick is also a very intelligent individual, he also doesn't understand things about the government clearly. Recently, Howard Lutnick went on television and told people to buy Tesla stock. That, my friends, is illegal. You cannot use your government position in order to pimp or pump stock. You can't do it. I mean, in this administration, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. But under any other administration, that would be a violation of ethics rules. Look, having the occasional billionaire come in and work a government job, lead a government agency, is a wonderful idea. Filling the entire cabinet full of billionaires is going to cause problems. Now, I don't put Howard Lutnick in there with a guy like Pete Hegseth, who is absolutely incompetent and in over his head at what he's expected to do. But billionaires don't do government very well. You need little bits of them to come in and not have them take over everything, as we've seen. This is not going to end well, because the other thing that billionaires love to do is think that they know better than everybody else about anything. And this right here is proof. When you have a billionaire talking about how old people who rely on Social Security wouldn't miss their checks, He is out of touch. Billionaires don't fucking get it.
The easiest way to find the fraudster is to stop payments and listen.
Yeah.
Because whoever screams is the one stealing.
Yeah.
No, Howard, the one who screams loudest is the one who needs the money the most. In fact, fraudsters are very careful about how and when they complain because they know they're committing fraud. The people who rely on these checks for their livelihood are the people who are going to yell and complain the loudest. When the rent is due and checks are bouncing, they absolutely are going to call and scream. As well they should.
Because my mother-in-law's not calling. I mean, come on, your mother, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, they trust the government. They trust, okay, maybe it got screwed up. Big deal. They're not going to call and scream at someone.
These people rely on the government. Yes, they trust the government. You're absolutely right. Which is why when people like Elon come in and fuck that up, it's a problem.
So the people who are getting that free money, stealing the money, inappropriately getting the money, have an inside person who's routing the money, they are going to yell and scream.
No, they are not, Howard. That is not how fraud and abuse works. If Musk and Doge and Trump and you start fucking with Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, it is going to be over. This economy is going to collapse because millions of people rely on this money and have paid into this money and deserve their money. Finding waste and fraud and trying to eliminate it is one thing. But what you have to do is you have to be very careful about who you pick out and who you accuse of fraud or waste, because many people rely on that money and rely on the government to provide it. So unlike everything else that Doge is doing where they just fucking wing it, this needs to be something that is done with a scalpel if you are truly looking to cut waste. And if we want to cut waste, there's a million other things that we could cut. Let's take all of the subsidies from companies that are worth $1 billion or more and cut those right off. But you and I both know that that's not going to happen because this administration is as fucking crooked as it gets. And Howard, you're going to be remembered as one of the culprits. Thanks for joining us, everyone. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, be good, stay humble, speak freely.